Felipe Gomez from Phil's Customs, and I want to show you a little bit of what I can do.
Hello again from Star Wars Collections and Displays. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jim.
We're here today with a gentleman, Philip. Philip, if you would, please give us a moment, introduce yourself, where are you from, and tell us a little bit about your collection.
Sure. My name is Felipe Gomez, and I'm located here in Chicago, Illinois. And I've been a Star Wars fan since the beginning, like most of us have since '77. And just been a pretty devout fan since then. And just at a time, I kind of shied away from it, but then got back onto the collecting, and then I just started making models, and just been into making models ever since. You know, just like about 10, 15 years ago when I started making a model for my son that he wanted from Star Wars, and they weren't available at the time what he wanted. So I ended up making when I thought, yeah, I build a little thing here and there, and just started making things for him, and I just started going from there by seeing other guys that make models, and see how they did them, and how they went by doing them, and learn materials here, materials there, and it just started to, okay, what if I do it this way? What if I do that way? And little by little, you know, I started gaining knowledge, and I just been doing things like that from there on, and I haven't stopped yet.
Wow, that's fantastic. These models that you're building, are they action figure models, vehicles, helmets, lightsabers? What kind of models are they? Or what should I say, what are they of?
Okay, the models that I make, there are different scales. They're like for 3¾ inch figures. They vary from there till the highest I've done right now is a 1/6 scale. And I start with something, you know, and I start building it. I'm very excited and enthusiastic about it, and then I just start making it, and it just starts growing from there. And sometimes I just grab on. Well, I just do it on the weekend because my daytime job doesn't allow me to build models, you know. So I just gotta do what I gotta do at home at nights or on the weekends. And the models that I made, some of them have been completed, and others are like still in progress. But and then I paint them, weather them, and they're made of foam boards like the RC airplanes. And right now I'm going into the Bondo kind of process, which is giving me another interesting finish. And I'm just hoping to finish a couple of projects that I have going in that direction. And I'm very excited about them, and hope you guys like to see them.
Definitely like to see them. So it's mostly vehicles that you're building, ships and things like that.
Correct. Yeah. Every now and then, you know, I sculpt also. I do like sometimes I get so burned out on making models. Like for example, there was this time that I did 10 models at 1/6 scale of snow speeders. And these snow speeders, they're like since they're all handmade, they're built from scratch. I don't do 3D because I have no idea. So when people say, "Hey man, 3D," suddenly everything just turns into Japanese to me. So like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And that's why I was you could say that I'm old school.
And when you say 3D, you're referring to 3D printing?
Printing, yes. 3D printing. Yeah. And so then from there on, you know, I just make them, everything is from scratch. And that time that I made 10 snow speeders, and I got pretty tired. It took me approximately about a year to make 10 of them because I'm the only one doing them. You know, I don't have any help. So I just, as soon as I get home, I say hi to the family, have a little something to eat, and see you guys. I got to go to my other job. And it was like that. And after a while, it burned me out big time. So then sometimes, you know, I want something different. So then I just start either drawing, sketching, or painting, and or sculpting. And that's like something that takes me away from the routine and kind of keeps me on my toes that way.
And so I'm going to guess and say that a life-size snow speeder is 12, 15 foot long. And so a 1/6 scale would probably make it 2 to 3 foot.
Yes, as a matter of fact, if you'd like to see one, I have one right here.
Sure.
Which is this one right here. Give me a second. This is actually one that I'm making for a friend of mine that asked me for it. And this is the basic construction is a foam board. It keeps it light, yet it's sturdy. I mean, someone with electronic or technological knowledge of, let's say, those drones, those little four motored little helicopters like that, they could make one of these fly. You know, and it's very when it's finished, this weighs around 4 pounds, which is not very heavy. So it could be displayed on a base or hanging from a wall or stuck on a wall, and it accommodates 2 1/6 scale or 12-inch figures. And it's everything is it has articulation at the canopy, the brakes, the top brakes, the rear shocks, and it has 5 optics in the cockpit. It has LEDs, and it's detailed inside out, and the whole thing, you know, just like a model.
Wow.
And these are right now just kind of taking it easy because the friend that I'm doing this for, you know, he's very lenient, and that's what I like about him. That okay, yeah, you know, just take your time, do it, and all right, cool, you know. So, but I'm chugging along, you know. I'm little, but I'm moving.
So where would you get the insight as to the detail from? Is it something that you envision, or are you buying some CAD drawings or some blueprints that you've collected?
No, actually, these I make them. Let's see, how can I tell you? I download pictures from the internet. I buy, if I can get the model, physical model, you know, for reference, for better reference. You know, I try to make them as close as to what you see in the movies. You know, like the paint job. And I've been a good friend of mine. He pushed me into doing a different process for weathering that I was very hesitant on it. And his name is Joey Shipman. And thanks to him, you know, I've been liking how my models are turning out. My last models have been turning out really realistic as possible, but there's always a bigger fish. You know, there's always someone out there who are real masters. Me, I'm just an amateur. You know, I'm not a professional. You know, but I try to do the best work that I can, and just to make it look good. You know?
Well, from what I see, it's very impressive. Now, who
Thank
are
you.
you making these for? Yourself? You selling them?
I sell them. Every now and then, someone contacts me because what I do, like I said, I always start making things for myself, and then I post them on my page on Phil's Customs, right there on Facebook, and people start looking at it, and they start asking questions. Hey man, how big is this? Are you gonna make more? And how much are they? And I really can't put a price on something that hasn't been completed because I have to see how much material it takes, how much time, what kind of detail level, you know. And like, for example, I'm working on an 11-foot Superstar Destroyer that I've had there. It's going to be, oh man, it's going to be like about 5 years, because when I started making the bottom hull, and then someone just hit me up right away. Hey man, can you make me one of these smaller? And I said, well, the smallest I can go on something like this is about 47 inches because of the detail. You know, my fingers are not that thin. So, you know, for my fat fingers, you know, I can only go so tiny, so small. And I made him, so that Superstar Destroyer, I put that on the side because someone wanted something done. So yeah, sure, you know, and every time that I try to go back to my models, you know, I always think of something and it looks really cool and people like it, and hey, next you make me one. Hey, all right, sure, you know, it's just gonna take some time, and I tell them how it's gonna be or whatever. And like, for example, this APC right here is a 1/6 scale from Aliens, and the friend that my friend, his name is Jens, actually, the one that I'm making this for, this is for him. He asked me last year, hey Nick, I'm really into aliens, and could you make me an APC for a 1/6 scale? And I said, sure, why not? You know, I mean, if you just give me the time, and if I have the space, why not? So I made this one right here, and it took me about 5.5 months to build, and he's coming to pick it up because I told him, dude, something like this, you know, you have to come pick it up. I wouldn't ship it, especially because you never know, you know, a lot can happen. You know, once it leaves my hands, it's out of my control, you know, and it's gonna hurt to see him go. Like always, you know, everything that I do, I just grow so attached to it.
It's your baby.
I see it every day.
It's your baby.
There you go. Exactly like this one right here. That was my second model. This
I like that.
A Venator Superstar Destroyer, and it has a 2400 fiber optics. Has 36 LEDs, and this one weighs 15 pounds. So that's why I got it hanging up there.
So the fiber optics, is there a cord that comes out of it to the optical generator, or is that all incorporated into the model?
Oh, everything is in the model.
Wow.
They're operated by battery packs, like double A's. You know, this one takes six battery packs, and the 6 battery packs, they run the whole show. And you know, I've had this in a comic book store hanging, and it was there for about 1.5 years, and everybody liked it. And every time that I will go over there and pick up my comic books, I just look at it like, man, you know, how did I even start this? You know, and something every time before I go to work, I come down here with my cup of coffee, and I just look at the things I've done. Like I just did them yesterday. I don't know. Maybe it's bad to say or it's wrong to say, but I just love my work. I just love it.
Well, with that Star Destroyer, and I see above you is an X-Wing fighter, is there a particular series or movie that tends to inspire you for building these things?
Sometimes if I see something that, it's like today, you see something in a show or in a movie, and I'm printing it, you know, everything. And I just, okay, well, in my case, you know, not everything needs to be printed, you know, every nook and cranny, they just, I got this, I got that. I just like to do the ones you could say probably that are difficult to make, or just something that I think that, oh man, that would look really cool. And right as soon as I see something, my mind starts building it. It's on my mind. And once I see it finished in a couple of minutes, I'm like, wow, this looks really cool. Like, for example, I'm besides Star Wars, you know, there are other franchises that I like. For example, Aliens, Batman, you know, the Michael Keaton one. I love that one. And I've always wanted a a Batmobile. I fell in love with a Batmobile when it came out, and holy cow, this is really something else. And when Hot Toys came out with it, unfortunately, I didn't have the means to jump on it. But so I said, oh, what the heck? You know what? After gaining a little bit of more knowledge of building things, why don't I give it a shot and see if I can make my own? So I started, and this is one of my latest ones. I'm working on it. This is a 1/6 scale, and this is one of the new ways that I'm going with a bondo, and because this is a mold, so I'm gonna see if I could make a couple more because I want this in RC. I want to see if I could make it into an RC with a functioning cockpit and put the Hot Toys that Keaton in there also, and lights and a little smoke unit, so it looks like it's actually running. So those are the plans. That's the plans
Wow.
for this one. So yeah, it's pretty big. This is also 1/6 scale,
Very
and
cool.
that's one of the my latest things that I'm working on. That's keeping me busy.
How many models would you say that you've made over, you say 10 years you've been doing this?
Okay. Let's see. With this one, I mean, I've done sculptures also, but not too many that I sold. I have a handful that I did that I was selling, but nobody wanted them, so I ended up keeping them, and so they ended up in my collection. So they're there, and now that I see them, and I'm just glad that they didn't sell because I just love them, And a lot of people have asked me, dude, why don't you make molds out of it? And because I don't know how, I could just like make a little from a figure, just grab some epoxy clay that aids epoxy and just make a mold, and that's about as far as I go. I can't go any bigger when they start saying, oh, latex and make it bigger, and oh man, I have no idea what's going on there. Most of it, I'm afraid because I know that probably is 100% chance that I'm going to screw up. So that's like, oh man, better I'll leave that for the professionals.
Well, it's good that one knows their limitations, but at the same time, you always kind of have to push the boundaries a little bit.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Felipe, I see a lot of Star Wars behind you. I know you get your inspiration from a lot of different things, pop culture, but obviously a lot of Star Wars there. What do you think it is about Star Wars that inspired you so much? What did you see or feel about Star Wars to make that connection?
Well, okay, like a lot of like everybody else, that opening scene on episode 4. When that scene came out, it just grabbed me, and it just okay. This is calling me. This is something that I mean, because I've seen Battlestar Galactica, I've seen Star Trek, but when I saw that scene with the Star Destroyer, which I actually have one of those in progress, it's a 6-foot one. I said I would like one of those. One day I'm gonna have one of those. So the small one came out, yes, and now that I have a little room that my wife and I that she's given me my little corner here. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would like to have that destroyer, that Imperial Star Destroyer that I've always wanted since '77. So, and when that scene came out, and I saw the models and the detail on them, and it just blew my mind. And from there on, I've been very interested in miniatures ever since, and it just I don't know. It just there's like props that are one scale, the original scale that a lot of collectors love, and my specialty more is like miniatures, and 1/6 scale for the 12-inch figures, or the smaller scale, but they're nice, and it's nicer because they don't take that much of space, and those are easier to have. And then the big ones are really nice to see because you don't see that anywhere, or most of the time. I'm sorry, uh, you don't see them every day. It's not like you go to a comic book store and holy cow, you see one of these there. where this come from? Just to put a smile on people's faces and, just to show them, that it's out of the movie. Oh, it's physical. It's right here. I could look at it and, something like that. So that's when I make my models. I try to make them as close as possible, as close as I can get to them, for people to look at them and enjoy and take pictures of it, and and to encourage other modelers, because there's new generations that are going into this, like plastic models. Their parents will buy them the cars, the helicopters, like that model club back in the 70s. That God knows how many times I built that helicopter, and from there on, I just to encourage people to step out of that plastic and give it a shot. You've gained enough knowledge on building things. Step it up a notch and do something on your own, and see where you can go from there. Obviously, repetition, makes you better at it. So the more you do something, the better you'll get to it. This model came out good. This was going to come out better because I
learn something.
Okay, I could have done this. Exactly. I could have done this. I could have done that. So the next model is going to be better. The next one is even going to be better. So that's how you learn.
Your motivation for making models, is it for personal enjoyment? Is it an investment for yourself? Or are you looking to kind of obviously go into some business and try to sell them?
It's just for personal enjoyment, and because that business thing is kind of difficult, and I don't have that kind of knowledge. So you got to do this, you got to do that, because it just sounds really easy. Yeah, you know what? I want to open up my own shop. It sounds easy. It sounds really cool, but there's a lot behind that.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what? I stay away from that, and I just make it for myself.
Yeah.
And when someone comes up, hey man, you know what? Can you make me one of those? Sure, then yeah, but I don't advertise myself like that. I just like, this is what I do. I just do this on my free time, on the weekends, and this is what I do. And just people just come to me. I don't like to do it like that, if you want to say, but I've been people have been good, and they've been keeping me busy. And like, for example, like that Batmobile, there's a couple people that expressed interest in it, and like, yeah, okay, fine, yeah, if I can, why not?
Right.
Give someone what they wanted. Man, I always wanted this as a kid. Can you make me one? Yeah. Put a smile on their face.
Sure.
What command was given to the clones to have them turn against the Jedi? Order 66. Thank you for supporting our channel. May the Force be with you.
Hello, I would like to take a few moments to discuss with you a serious affliction that may be affecting many of us: collector's disease. This can occur with one or more issues when we begin to collect Star Wars action figures and collectibles. Psychological factors can play a role in both the motivation for keeping a collection and the impact it has on the collector's life. These factors can be positive or negative. The hobby of collecting often goes hand in hand with an interest in objects collected and what they represent. For example, collecting postcards may reflect an interest in different places and cultures. For this reason, collecting can have educational benefits. Some collectors even become experts in their field. Maintaining a collection can be a relaxing activity that counteracts the stress of life, while providing a purposeful pursuit which prevents boredom. The hobby can lead to social connections between people with similar interests and the development of new friendships. Collecting for most people is a choice, but for some, it can be a compulsion, sharing characteristics with obsessive hoarding. When collecting is passed between generations, it might sometimes be that children have inherited symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder. Collecting can sometimes reflect a fear of scarcity or of discarding something and then later regretting it. It's been speculated that the widespread appeal of collecting is connected to the hunting and gathering that once was necessary for human survival. Collecting is also associated with memory by association and the need for a human brain to catalog or organize information and give meaning to one's actions. Whether you've been collecting for years or are looking to begin your first collection, there are many collectibles to choose from. Whatever you choose, take pleasure in the art of building a collection. In the end, collecting is something that is meant to be enjoyed. Whether you view it as a scavenger hunt, a great way to expand your horizons, or simply a way to brighten your home, collecting can be an enriching and rewarding experience for all family members. Most importantly, though, be aware of its consequences. But above all, enjoy it and have fun. I'm Jim Stein, and may the force be with you.
This is Jack in the Box. We finally get our box back from CAS.
Me? Poetry?
We don't just spread fun through action figures, we get close and personal with the actors that played these characters.
I'm Nick Joseph, and I played Major Arhul Extrafon.
You were the one that banged his head in that doorway?
Yes, that's me, yes.
And then they dressed me as a Hoth rebel.
Be sure to subscribe and binge watch all of our episodes. Thanks for tuning in to Jack in the Box.
Sure. So a comment and a question. The comment is, I'm in the aquarium business, which started out with my own aquarium. And the irony to that is, and I said this quite often, is you turn your hobby into a business. It's no longer a hobby. It's a business. Right. You kind of lose that a little bit.
Yeah.
Been doing aquariums since the mid 80s. And so many times I've lost my way with regards to my aquarium hobby. But then I get interested in something else or something new will come about. So you kind of have to be a little careful there. Again, turning your hobby into a business. My question to you is, you mentioned you had that Starliner in that toy store. I would assume that there were inquiries that came. How much is that, and can I get one from you?
Yes, they were, but not as many as you might think, because okay, well, that was really expensive. Material wise, it's not too much excessively, but what it takes more, it's the labor, because to scale something like this from scratch, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, but then again, it isn't, because if you've been building models, for a long time, then you already know you start up from the inside. Okay, well, how big do I want it? Like, for example, if I want a car, okay, how big do I want it? Well, okay, the figure is 4 inches. All right, 4 inches. This is the figure that I want to fit in it. So I just start scaling from that figure, start scaling it up, but you're building yourself from the inside out. And but that's how my process is. And people, they've asked me about it, and but obviously, I don't know. But then again, something like this will tie me down for at least a year and a half. This one, it took me 2 years to build. And out of yes, and I named it after my brother. You know, he's one with the force now. Unfortunately, he's left us, and I named it after him because when I was making it, he got ill. He became ill, and I told him, "Hey, bro, you know," because he used to build models also, and when we were together, we always made stuff. He would do something to it, I would do something else to it. So it was like I was he was part A, I was part B on something. So we will always collaborate. And well, now when I started building this one, I told him, "Hey, bro, you know what? Look, this is what I'm doing now." This is when episode 3 came out, and that battle over Coruscant just blew me away, just like it did to a lot of people. So I said, I have to have one of those in my collection. So yeah, I made a small one about this big first to see if it would look good. So if I could get the shapes, the angles to it, and when I saw it, all right, it wasn't detail or anything like that, just mostly to get the angles. And I saw it, all right, it looks good. All right, fine. Now let's just do a big one. Okay, how big do I want to go? 7 feet sounds good. All right, so I started just scaling it at 7 feet and build myself from the inside out. Halfway through it, through the building process, my brother, he left, and he didn't get to see it complete, but he knew that it was under construction. So because he brought me back to the collecting world after I had kind of escaped from it for a while. So he brought me back, and I told him, "Bro, you know, I'm going to name this after you for bringing me back to where we've always been in the Star Wars collecting universe." And he was very thankful. He goes, "Oh man, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that." And though he didn't get to see it complete, but there it is.
He felt part of it.
Yes.
Great, great. So when you're deciding on what it is you're going to build, what is the importance of that item? Is it the cost? Is it the time? Is it for who it is? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, you know what? Something when I see something like that, I just make it for myself, like I said. And like for example, when the movie Solo came out, and there's that speeder bike, and it just was there for like about 3 seconds, and then it blew up, and everybody was going crazy over it. And like, hey man, it's a simple design, but I liked it too for some reason. So then someone told me, "Hey man, can you make one of these?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? Let me give it a shot." So I made one. I made the prototype, you could say, and some people liked it, and they told me. People started hitting me. "Hey, you know what? I'm interested. You want? I want one." And I said, "Okay, well, you know what? Let me get 5 people interested in it, and if I can get 5, you know, I'll make them." And you know, thank God that it didn't last too long before I got those 5 people together, and they signed up for it. And I told them, "All right, cool. You know what? This is what it's gonna look like. This is just a prototype, but I'm going to make some upgrades to it." And people started liking it, and I would just send them pictures every week. And look, this is what I did this weekend. I would always keep them notified from the beginning from the first piece that I cut all the way to it left in the post office. And they loved it. And I made Jesus, how many? I made about 14 of them, and to the last one which were the last versions, they were very detailed. Put LEDs on them, not put a base. And when all those left, I said, "Man, I got to keep them for myself," because obviously the prototype also flew. Someone wanted it, so like okay. So luckily, I took some notes of them, measurements, and I made one for myself. And I'm kind of like into the history of World War II, of the vehicles of World War II. So I decided, I thought, hey, well, why don't I make one of those bikes into a World War II paint scheme? So one of my favorite planes of the era is the Stuka dive bomber. I said, why not? All right, cool. So I ended up making one for myself, which is this one, and I did it in 1/6 scale, and I painted it in the Stuka version, And I did the trooper. I did it myself too from a $10 Walmart figure. I gutted out the armor because I didn't have $250 to pay for one. So I did it. I bought a little cheap a flight suit, packed it up with cotton, and put like a wire frame on it, and at one 6 fields perfect. So I painted the whole thing, put some extra pieces from other little weapons that I have, so it would look more interesting. And some people liked it, but then again, I caught some flack over it. Oh, that is how can you paint it in that way? You know, that does not belong in the World War II era and things like that. So like, dude, it's just a model. It's just something that I had in the back burner, and I got off my back, and there you go. And this, at least I kept this one. But yeah, this is the one of the ones that I have, besides the one that I'm working on right now.
That's beautiful. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
typically we would ask a question at this point, which is boxed or loose. And to try to take that question and tweak it a little bit, your models that you build, obviously you're not putting them in a box other than to ship it, but are you creating? The answer that we usually get with people who say box is you get the artwork that comes with the box. So in your case, you build the model. Is there a scenery around it or something beyond the model that you're offering with it, or is it just we'll call it the loose figure that you've sculpted?
Yeah, it's just a loose figure. You know, I don't. It would be another, like, for example, for the snow speeder, the box has to be custom made as well, because I had some trouble with the post office. Oh, the box is too big, we cannot ship it. So like, okay, wow. So I found a way. I found a little loophole, you could say, that by shaping the box in a different standard shape, you could say, you know, I was able to send those through to ship those out. But the models that I have, you know, it's just loose, you know, because to make a box like with artwork and pictures like that, it would require more than that. So it's like another
an additional project.
Correct. Yeah. And you know what? As soon as I'm done with the model, people want it right away. You know, oh my God, you know, I can't wait for it to have it in my hands. Yes, I know, but if you want, and I'll make a box and I'll paint stuff on it, but it's gonna take more time. And by the time I'm done with that box, you already have the model in your hands. You know. Right. But yeah, I mean, even on figures, or there are certain figures that I buy, like all my Star Wars ones, I take them out of the box, man. You know, I mean, the box nowadays, you can't deny that the artwork is awesome. You know, it's very cool. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, I even feel guilty about opening up one. I'm like, oh man, should I, shouldn't I? You know, it keeps you like that. But I want to feel it. I want to smell it. You know, I want to pose it. I want to play with it. You know, but in some of the boxes I keep some, but the most of them I just get rid of them, because why? It's just taking up more space. I'm not gonna be able to do more models, because in high command, as I call my wife, you know, she's not gonna let me. You know, like, it's either your models or boxes. What do you want? Oh, you know what? We buy boxes. Okay, I got to work on models, because, you know, I want to see them. You know, like everybody wants to see. Who wouldn't want to see a model of that type instead of in the big screen, just like physical right there? You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will love that. So, you know, just, you know what, give people what they want.
So the items that we see in the background there, we'll just kind of loosely refer to that as your display. Is this the extent of the display, or do you have other items throughout the house?
No, this is pretty much what I have. I mean, I have some figures that I bought, certain figures, you know, that catch my eye, and some of them, well, like this is pretty much my display, because I really don't have people coming in, you know, like the displays that you guys have. That's awesome. One day I'm gonna have one of those. But just since I don't have that kind of space, you know, it's either collection or my models. You know, I want to make models. That's what I want to do. You know, I just want to because you know I I want to do something that I see in my head, but I don't want it to stay there. I want to bring it to the physical world. You know, and like for example, this APC, and I can't wait for the my friend to come pick it up because I want to see his reaction. To me, one of the rewards after building something is seeing the look on people's faces. Like when I took the destroyer to the comic book shop, when I was taking it out of my car and I was walking into it, just the look on people's faces, their eyes were like, wow, you know, how did you even start with this? Where did you begin? You know,
Actually,
that to me is like my reward.
That's one of the questions that's part of down the list that I'll come back to. What we see in the background there, it looks like it's a metal shelf. It looks like you have some stuff suspended from the ceiling. How is all of that stuff placed there?
Well, actually, these I just have a curio in the corner, and it has some pieces. This one has materials that I use. The beams on my basement. That's what's holding up the pieces because I can't have them lying around here. So I just put them up there so I could have more space to work on. But yeah, that's I know it's a mess, but like everybody, my wife says, "Holy cow, how can you even work here?" And I tell her that you know it may look like a mess, but everything is where it's supposed to be, you know. So, but yeah, one day I would like to, you know, display put them in a display or in a way that they can be seen, you know. But I just haven't had the time, you know. I've just been doing models and like things like that.
And this area that you're in now, is this also your work area?
Yeah. This is my little my Phil's Customs corner. This is where all my things are born right here. This little table and that little table right there. And this one is I'm just holding it right now for my friend, but it's gonna be soon. Was gonna be gone, and I'm gonna cry on this one. I know that. And but yeah, this is just it's a small space, and it's very messy.
Once he comes to pick that up, it'll open up some space to bring something else in. And of course, my next question is, beyond what we see there, do you have room to expand?
I guess I could do that. You know, I just have to get rid of a whole bunch of boxes that haven't even opened since I moved into this place. You know, they're still there that I don't even know what's in them. But yeah, I do have some area that I could clear out, and that's one of my intentions in this year. That's one of my goals this year to expand a little bit more. Maybe I could have another table because the more space I have, the better I can move, and the more I have space to move. You know, and you're more efficient that way rather than just in a little spot. You're like, okay, well, this is all I can do. You know.
Yeah, Felipe, you've referred to like a Facebook group or a page that you have called like Phil's Collectibles or Phil's Customs. What is that exactly? What are you doing on that?
I'm sorry?
What exactly is it? Is it a Facebook group that you have? Explain what this Phil's Customs is.
Oh yeah, it's on Facebook. It's Phil's Customs, and it's just a blog of the work pieces that I've done. Some are complete, the ones that are completed, and some that are in progress. And whatever I do, that's where I put it on, and then I just share it onto other groups that I'm in, and just for people to see, and that's how I kind of like throw things out there.
I see. And if somebody did want to purchase some work from you, would that be the best way for them to get in touch with you? Or are you trying not to promote and have people get in touch?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. yeah, they could just hit me up right there in Phil's Customs, and I may not answer right away, but I'll get back to everybody as soon as I can.
I see. All right.
And you are the
Customer
only,
coming.
you are the only builder of the items that you're offering. You don't have a partner.
No.
Your wife doesn't get involved in it.
Oh no, she doesn't. Every now and then, my kids would do something, something easy, But for the most part, I'm the only one doing the work. So that way, because I don't know. Because one thing I don't like to tell people what to do, so I just do it myself. Better yet, that way I know exactly like every nook and cranny of every model that I've done. I know exactly what's in there or what's how it is, and that way I know exactly what I did to them. And yeah, but I'm pretty much the only one doing everything here.
Do
Kind of
you
like a one-man
invite,
show.
do you invite people down to see what you're building on?
When they come to my house, my place right now, right here, it's a mess and it's very small. I just take my things upstairs to the family room and I kind of set them up there. Like when my family comes over, there's some family members that really like what I'm doing, and hey man, what are you doing? Hey, I can't wait to go to your place and see the stuff you're doing. Yeah, sure, dude, why not? So when they're coming over, I make sure that whatever I'm doing, I put it up there, and so they could walk around it and see it, and better lighting than here, and so they can do whatever they like there and look at it.
For a first timer who gets invited over to your house, when they come in and you've got some of the stuff upstairs and they see it, what do they say? What's their reaction?
Oh man, they start taking pictures. They're just a look on their face. It's like I said, just the look on people's faces. That's kind of like my reward. I'm like, okay, it looks like I'm doing something okay. But there's always a bigger fish. There's always someone else out there who can outdo you. So, I just do what I can.
Do you have, of all the things that you've made, do you have one particular favorite?
This one, this destroyer, this one right there. I call it the Victorious. That's what I named it. That one, I could, if my house is on fire, this is what I'm jumping in there for.
Mhm.
And so do you have a particular favorite movie or series that inspires you?
Well, obviously, Star Wars, Episode 4, 5, 6, and then the prequels, and we'll just leave it at that. Well, in movies, but Mandalorian. I've seen some other ones that are the character answers. I'm not always just into Star Wars. Aliens, Terminator, Game of Thrones, that kind of stuff. But everything but for the most part, my main one's always been Star Wars. That's the one right there.
And is there a particular a favorite character or a favorite vehicle that appeals to you?
My favorite character is Darth Vader. That one. So much that I pieced a suit together, and I don't cosplay. I just worn it 2 times, and so that I could say I was Darth Vader for a time, and I know the feeling. Like when I see Christian Haydenson saying, "Hey, I wore the suit," I can say, I know what that's like. I know what that's like. Trust me. And my son, he fills it up a lot better than I do because it's much taller and buffer. And he's worn it a couple times also to a convention, and that was kind of an eye catcher there because I made the suit, but I bought pieces, but it turned out pretty nice. It's pretty neat. And the vehicle that most appeals to me, oh man, would be what? The snow speeder. Let's just go there. The snow speeder and the AT-AT.
Very cool. Very cool. Is there a particular, if you had the ability to be in one of the movies, Is there a particular person or character you'd like to be?
Oh man, what would it be? Maybe like the Sith in the background. You know, yeah, that would be good. You know, I'm not much of an actor or anything like that. I could just switch my my lightsaber, or like, hey, I'm fighting with someone in the background.
And my final question for you is to prospective other model builders. What advice would you pass along to them?
I would tell them, just go for it. Don't be afraid. You know, at least if you mess up, it doesn't matter, because at least you tried. Because a lot of people, they never even tried. You know, and that's the only way you're gonna do something. You know, you don't have to go big on it. You know, just start out. Take care. Start out somewhere and smaller scale. Just do it and go on from there. You know, nowadays there's a lot of videos out there that you could look at and get a lot of ideas for it, and you could just go ahead, just go for it, man. Don't shy away from it. And anyway, you know what? If you mess up, like I said, at least you tried. You know, and at least you'll be able to sleep good that from there on, rather than, oh man, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, just, hey, I did it. It worked out, or it didn't work out. But hey, so you can move on.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I will leave you with one little story before I finish up. And that has to do with the size of the models. I would love to have what's sitting behind you, that Star Cruiser or Star Destroyer, which is 48 or 60 inches long. And my story is, I have an aquarium service customer who went onto Facebook. He saw a canoe that he really, really wanted. Now, we all know a canoe is 10, 11, 12 foot long. And his intent was to obtain this so that he could ship it to Connecticut and put it in the ceiling of a house that he's building there.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow he I don't know how this happened wrongly, but he contacted Federal Express and gave him supposedly the dimensions, and they came back and said, oh, that'll only cost you a couple $100 to ship that. That did not seem right. He realized it at the moment, but for whatever reason, maybe he just thought, okay, they said it and I'm going to hold them to it. But in the end result was he ended up coming back, having spoken to him 3 times. And the third guy said, no, you're looking at $3,500 just to ship it. Well, the point is, now he's got this canoe and it's $3,500 to ship it to Connecticut. So he's contemplating putting it in his living room at home. Now, this guy has a very large house, but a 15-foot canoe in the ceiling would be just a little much. And maybe, I don't want to say it wouldn't fit, but scale wise, it wouldn't fit. I would love to have something as big as what you have back there. And I'm sure everybody who came into that toy store thought the same thing. But the real question is, where are you going to put a 4-foot or 5-foot Star Destroyer in your house?
Oh, well, like, well, this one is just hanging here. This is 7-foot. That one's hanging here. The 11-foot Destroyer, someone expressed interest in it already, but I told him, dude, okay, well, let me go more into it. At least I would like to finish the engine section. So, because right now, just the way it is, just the bottom hull is 7 feet. That's all I got, and I still need 4 more feet of engine section. So that's going to give you my 11 feet. So at least you could see how big the piece is. And this person that asked me for it is a big collector. He has a lot. He has a snow speeder of mine in his collection, and he's very happy. And I'm even more happy because he's very happy with it. And but he has a hell of a collection. He's in Texas, And he told me, "Hey man, I'm interested." And that's why I told, "Okay, cool, dude. But hold on, let me do more work on it, so then you and I can see how big it is." And I'm gonna work on that one sometime later on. But he asked me for a 1/6 scale X-wing that he wants to put in a restaurant that he's opening, and it's Star Wars. It has a lot of Star Wars pieces on there, like a display, and it's called oh man, what is it? Dark Side Pizza. That's what it is, and it's under construction. And man, I can't wait. So I'm working on the 1/6 scale X-wing for him for his one of his displays.
Very good. Well, Felipe, thank you very much for participating in our interview. The information you have is very enlightening and insightful. I'm sure a lot of people will either decide that they want to try to build something themselves. Hopefully, some of them may even contact you. But as you've already pointed out, time is a big factor in
Yes.
what it takes to complete one of these projects.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of people they ask me questions. Hey, you know where to find me. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. But just don't ask me anything about printing because I have no idea what's going on there. But ask me about scratch building. I can answer any question.
Excellent.
Feel free.
Well, again, thank you very much. It was a great interview and very nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jim, Jack. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Felipe, I'll just, before we close here, I'll just say, this has been very special. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, have been a Star Wars fan of the movies and the shows, and especially the collectibles my entire life. So to be able to see something so unique and special that you're doing with these collectibles, it's really special and awesome to see. So again, thank you very much. I'll remind people out there in YouTube, if you want to ask Felipe here any questions or have any comments, there is a comment section down below that you can go to. Jim, myself, and Felipe will check those comments and make sure to respond to anything that anyone might ask. Obviously, you can go to Phil's Customs as well. That's a Facebook group, and see Felipe and all his work right there and get in touch with him there. Again, that's Phil's Customs. And again, I'll just remind everyone, go ahead and like this video if you've made it this far in the video at this point. Obviously, there's something that you like about this, so give us a like and subscribe to this channel as well. If you want to see other collectors and other collectibles and their collections, go ahead and subscribe. You can see all our videos right there. Again, Felipe, thank you very much to you and Victor. May the force be with you, my friend. Thank you.
May the force be with you, Mary.